Hello, wonderful people. This is your guy Forsen. I welcome you all once again to my guitar lessons channel. I always say that subscribing and following this channel will always help you to learn the guitar by yourself at your comfort zone. So if today happens to be the first time you are watching a video on this channel, I kindly ask you to subscribe to this channel. After subscribing, you hit on the notification bell so that anytime I upload a new lesson, YouTube will alert you and you'll be the first person to watch the video. So if today happens to be the first time, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And also, if today is your first time watching a video here and you've not watched my previous lessons, I kindly ask you to go to the description below this video and you get the link that will help you to get access to all my previous lessons. In today's lesson, we are going to look at chords, key C, major chords, or chords in key C. And with the chords, because I'm not there physically to guide you or to teach you on the chords, I will handle them bit by bit. I will not load you with more chords in one lesson. So in each lesson, I'll try to teach at least 2 chords so that you can get more space and then practice them very well and get used to the chords very well. So in today's video, we are going to look at the chord C and then chord F in key C. We are going to look at C chord and then F chord in key C. And before we move on with the main practicals, last week in our previous videos when we were looking at the terms for beginners or the basic term that every guitarist must know, we got to know the difference between a chord and a scale. And we realized that a chord is made up of 3 or more notes. So when you play 3 or more notes at the same time, it becomes a chord. So today we are going to play 3 or more notes at the same time, and those things that we are going to play, they are chords that you can find in key C. And when you talk of a key is just basically the root note of a chord. It's basically the root note of the chord. That is where you are going to pick your root note from the chord. Well, so let's move on with the practicals. Now, with the first chord that we are going to look at, which is the chord C, which is also known as chord 1. And as we move on with the lessons, we will get to know why it's chord 1 and then why it's chord C. So now with the first chord, which is chord C, of course we are going to play 3 notes at the same time. With the chord C, it's 3 notes, and then with the chord 4, we will have 4 notes. So there's the chord C. There's the C, and there's the positions. The first finger, your first finger plays on you press your first finger on the 2nd fret of the B string. On the 2nd fret of the B string with your first finger. And then your 2nd finger will handle the D string, the 2nd fret of the D string. The 2nd fret of the D string. And then your 3rd finger will handle the 3rd fret of the A string. So with the chord C, we are only using our first 3 fingers. 1, 2, 3. We are using these 3 fingers, and we are dealing with 3 frets, and we are dealing with 3 strings. But the strings, we are not dealing with them in order. We just, the first one, the first finger will press on the 2nd fret of the B string. Your 2nd finger will press on the 2nd fret of the D string, and then your 3rd finger will press on the 3rd fret of the A string. So this makes the C chord. When you press or when you play these notes at the same time, it becomes the chord C in key C. Again, I'll repeat the process again. Your first finger will press on the 1st fret of the B string. Your first finger will press on the 1st fret of the B string. your second finger will press on the second fret of the D string. So when you are moving to the D string, you will not release your finger from the B string. It's still there. And then your third finger will handle the third fret of the A string. So when you strike, when you play these notes together at the same time, it becomes a chord. So today what I want us to know is the positions for the chords, how you are going to position your fingers. And then as we move on, we will look at how you are going to strum, the strumming. You will deal with them. So today we are just going to strike them. And when you place your fingers like this, you play the strings from the A string, to the high E string. You play all of them together. This one, we are not going to play only the strings that you have placed your fingers. With the G string, your finger is not on it. But when you are playing, you play it as well as the high E string. Your finger is not on it, but you strike it. With the exception of the low E string that you will not play. So again, with the process or with the position again. Your first finger on the first fret of the B string. Your second finger on the second fret of the D string. And then your third finger on the third fret of the A string. You put your fingers or you press on them at the same time, and then you strike on them from the A string. You strike from the A string. That is when you are using your finger or your thumb, and then you can use the pick. So this is the chord C. This is the chord C in the key C. Now, the next chord that we are going to look for today is the chord F. The chord F or the chord F. Yes, in our next lessons, as we move on with the chord lessons, we will know why it's called the chord 4. So this one that we just did is the chord 1, also known as the chord C. Yes, now we are going to deal with the chord 4 or the F chord. The F chord, I'm going to teach 2 ways to play the F chord for today, and all of them sounds okay. All of them are okay, but as to which one that you use as you are playing a song, that one is a personal preference thing. You decide on which one that you prefer to use. So the first one that I'll teach, that is on the chord F. Now we know our C. This is our C. And if you want to play the F note, you just add your pinky on the D string, the third fret of the D string. This becomes your F. This is the first F that I'm going to teach. I repeat again. We know our C note again already. We know our C note. And then now when you are playing the C note, our pinky was free. If you want to move to the F note, F chord or the Fa chord, you just add your pinky on the third fret of the D string. So this becomes the first F chord that I'm going to teach. This one is very easy. Yes, but the other F notes that I usually use or I prefer to use and I've been using is this one. Don't forget when we're dealing with the chord and the scale, we said a chord is made up of 3 or 4 notes. So when you realize the C that we just learned is 3 notes, and the F that the first F that I just dealt with is 4 notes, because we already have 3 and we added our pinky on the third fret and we got 4 notes. Yes. Now the other Fa or the other F chord or the other chord 4 that I have been using, that one goes like this. your first finger will handle 2 notes at the same time on 1 fret. That is, your first finger will press on the high E string and then the B string at the same time. It goes like this. This is your first finger, and you've pressed on the high E string and the B string at the same time. And then your second finger will press on the 2nd fret of the G string. The 2nd fret of the G string. And then your 3rd finger will press on the 3rd fret of the D string. So this is the Fa or the chord F. The chord F that I have been using, and I really love this one so much. This one is very difficult, especially when you are practicing on the first finger, that you are pressing on the 2 strings at the same time. It's somehow difficult for beginners. But if you are able to grab it very well, you love this one, and you always prefer applying this F chord in your songs, unlike the first one that I just taught on top here. So I repeat the process again. Your first finger will press on the high E string and the B string at the same time, like this. And then your 2nd finger will press on the 2nd fret of the G string, and then your 3rd finger will press on the 3rd fret of the D string. And this one, when you are striking, you strike from the D string downwards. You strike from the D string. So these are the 2 chords that I want us to know for today, and I want you to practice very well. With the positions. I want you to know the positions now, and in our next video, I'll just teach how you can strum with your right hand or with your pick. I'll teach you different patterns of the strumming. So for today, I only want you to know these 2 chords, and then how you can position your fingers. So I repeat the 2 chords again. The first chord, which is the chord C, your first finger will be on the B string. Your 2nd finger will be on the B string, the 1st fret. And then your 2nd finger will be on the 2nd fret of the D string. And then your 3rd finger will be on the 3rd fret of the A string. So this is your C, this is your C, and then the Fa or the chord F. The first one that I taught was this one. You have your C already, and then you just put your pinky under on the D string, the 3rd fret of the D string. So it's just under the A string, the same fret under the A string. So this becomes the first Fa that I want you to know. And then the 2nd Fa that I have been using, that one, your first finger will press on the high E string and the B string on the 1st fret. Your 2nd finger will handle the 2nd fret of the D string, of the G string, of the G string. And then your 3rd finger will handle the 3rd fret of the D string. So these are the 2 chords that I want us to learn for today, and I really want you to practice this. Make sure that you position your fingers very well on the fret or on the strings that I have just taught for today. I'm saying this because if you are playing the chords and then you don't position your fingers well, you will not get the real tone or the real sound of the chord. So it's very, very important to get the right position and the right string as you play the chords. Thank you very much for watching this video. As usual, if today is the first time you are watching my videos, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit on the notification bell as well. And then if you have any question, if you don't understand anything concerning the video, you just leave your question or your comment in the comment section below this video, and I'll respond to them positively for you. Also, don't forget to share the link to your friends. Share to anybody that you think he or she might be interested in learning the guitar. Thank you very much. Don't go for speed. Make sure you go for accuracy. You are on the right note, you are on the right string, and you are on the right fret. Thank you very much. Goodbye.